Thanks, Barbara, for the nice introduction. I'm so happy to see so many people, so many friends, so many new friends here. It's a big emotion, so let me take a few seconds just to recover. But so I will use a few slides also to support. This is a summary of what Kitano-san and Furumi-san, which I warmly thank, for their introduction, and not only, actually, also for their support to this project. I remember the endless discussion and conversation across the sea with Hiroaki, trying to discuss what is the best form for this new kind of initiative. And of course, this would not be possible without the full support of Sony Europe, and I thank, warmly Furumi-san for, because of course this is a complex operation even within a big corporation like this. So this is a reminder of the history of CSL, Sony Computer Science Lab. So it started long ago, 34 years ago in Tokyo. I would say with a bright idea. The bright idea was, let's create a unit with researchers free to explore with their creativity and their curiosity, whatever subject. So with almost, I would say, no connection to the needs of the corporation. You would say, okay, this could be crazy, but actually it worked, because CSL is still standing after 34 years. In '96, they opened the lab in Paris. And actually last year, we celebrated the 25th anniversary of the lab in Paris with a big open house during the Maker Fair in Rome. Actually, I should thank Lorenzo Tagliavanti and Massimiliano Colella for making this possible. It was a very big Hermes desk. It was a very big initiative. After this, actually, very recently and very bravely, I would say, during the pandemic, they opened in Kyoto a new small lab, which is booming. And we are crazy enough also to discuss about the opening of this new lab during the pandemic. Actually, it took more or less 3 years of interactions, but the big part was during the pandemic. So we opened officially in October, but the restrictions of COVID didn't allow to have a proper introduction. So here we are today. I should thank also Professor Luciano Pietronero, because without him, actually, and really endless conversation about how can we do a joint public-private lab in a place like this. And this was at the end possible. Here we are. And for me, this place has a special meaning, I guess, for all the physicists and scientists in general. So I have fond memories of reading about Fermi and his research. So let me just give you a few details about what we are and what we're going to do. And let me start with something artistic. So these two pictures are the two artworks of an artist who is with us today, Fernando Cobello. Please raise your hand, Fernando. Here you are, okay? So it's not only this, actually. So we discussed with him for a few months, and we wanted to decorate our offices upstairs. The first floor, if you stay a little bit longer, you can admire all of this, also because you cannot appreciate the sides from these images. There are 12 panels like this, inspired to what we are as CSL, and also the kind of research we do here. And I guess, no boundaries, and the wonderments while working together, I guess, should be not only for CSL, but for everyone, every researcher, every curious people. So thanks again, Fernando, for this. So CSL Rome, the big idea we had in mind was to do something with an impact. You heard from Kitano-san, from Furumi-san, so what does it mean to have an impact? So of course we thought about big challenges, and nicely simplified by this UN Sustainable Development Goals. And somehow the ambition is to be the center for diffusing new ideas, new solutions, and also new scenarios, okay? But of course validated scenarios, which means tested on the ground, okay, with the actual stakeholders, with the actual policymakers. That's why we invited a lot of actors of the local territory. And of course, also the ambition is try to contribute just a little bit to the policies and their implementation. Of course, whenever we face tough challenges, we are moving in this space. You don't know, but we are moving in this space. So at the boundary between what is actual, so François Jacob would say what is actual and what is possible. So actual is what you know already, or you pretend to know. Okay, so what you experience already. The possible is a set of all things which you can possibly experience in the near future or in the far future. But of course, this is an uncharted territory for us, right? Because you can guess a few things you can possibly do tomorrow, okay? But I guess if I show you this, I guess you couldn't predict this. This was during the lockdown in Paris, 18th of March, 2020, okay? Raise your hand, I mean, if you predicted that this was likely, okay? So of course this was possible, right? Because we were there, okay? We know very well that we were there, right? But this was possible, but not very likely. Okay, so when you face these kind of challenges, you have to think that the kind of system you are dealing with are non-stationary. So you cannot pretend that everything is not changing, okay? The statistics is known. I say this for whoever thinks that AI can solve everything, because of course, those kind of systems are very complex. They change over time. So we have to learn, how to adapt our tools, okay, and our methods to address these kind of challenges. And I guess we need compasses. So we need new tools. And I guess so we call them what-if machines, because are not actually machines. Could be algorithms, could be procedures, could be a theorem, could be modeling schemes. But actually what we need is to know, what is the most likely evolution of a system under a specific set of actions. And I guess, all of you, if you are involved, in policy making, sometimes in the morning you think, perhaps I should do this, but perhaps you don't know what could be the impact of this action or the set of side effects of your action, okay? So I guess these kind of tools we are trying to construct will be very important to support, our way through this space of possibilities, and of course also our creativity. So now coming closer to the research questions. Of course, CSL Rome is a sort of spin-off at the beginning of what we do in Paris, and in Paris we do mainly 4 kind of activities. One is music and AI. Music and AI means not producing music through AI, but giving musicians and artists tools to create music. And actually the music, if you stay till the cocktail, the music you will listen during the cocktail will be, actually has been produced through our tools by the musicians in Paris, okay. Then we have language, and of course, language is a big topic because misunderstanding is always there, and the deep meaning is a graal for even the most sophisticated natural language processing and AI tools. Then we span to agriculture. Agriculture means robotics for microfarming, which of course is very important with respect to how we produce food, how we consume food. And of course, this is integrated in the urban environment very strongly. And then there is the overarching umbrella of creativity, which means something fancy, but actually creativity means understanding how people navigate this complex space of possibilities in a way. And not only humans, also machines, because also machines are exploring this kind of space. So there are basically 3 research lines we already launched in Rome, and of course there will be more in the future. One is about sustainable cities. Actually, for each of them, you will hear a small dialogue, roughly 10 minutes at the beginning of the next session, just to have a sort of dialogue in which you understand a little bit better what is at stake. So sustainable cities, information and social dialogue. And the last one is augmented creativity, which, again, I will exploit Fernando for this. So this is how Fernando depicted augmented creativity. So the point is not delegate artificial intelligence to do the job for us. The point is, what can we do, by being helped by artificial intelligence. So the central role of human beings, I guess, is quite central for our research, and augmented creativity means precisely this. Of course, there are many directions here, so I have no time to go through all this, but of course, whenever you write or whenever you compose music, you want new tools, okay, to do this, like was a piano for Beethoven, for instance. And of course, there are the intersections between arts and technology. I'm very happy to welcome today with us Ralph Doom, who is sitting in the second row here, who is the program officer at the European Commission of this STARTS program. STARTS stands for Science, Technology and Arts. And the idea is to promote a close interaction, a close dialogue between artists, scientists, and technologists. We are part of this challenge in collaboration with Maxi. I see a few representatives here. We have 2 artists in residence. One of them will speak in one of this dialogue, Olga Kiseleva, I see there. And the idea is to face complex challenges about urban environments, for instance, through the collaboration of different minds. And of course, augmented creativity also means finding new solutions, new ideas. It's also finding predictive algorithms for many different domains, from patents to science, to products, to policies. Second big chapter, cities. You know how important are cities. Again, this is the interpretation of Fernando of our challenges. If you look at the left one, I mean, you can immediately see, I mean, the link with what we call now the 15-minute city, which is a sort of buzzword now. I mean, with the city sitting in one hand of a guy, so very close to our reach. And of course, there, I mean, I have no time to go through this, but we have several branches of activities. I mean, from the micro scale, looking at the actual mobility of people, and of course, the accessibility not only of places, but also opportunities for many different reasons. Then we have the macro scale, which is a longer time scale. Macro scale means looking at the socioeconomic indicators, their interplay, and how they affect, for instance, the quality of life or the inequality index like Gini coefficient, this kind of stuff. And then, as Furumi-san mentioned, we have also the technological side using this IMX 500 sensors, which are Sony cameras, intelligent because there is a layer, an edge of AI coupled to the camera. So whatever image you take, actually, you sort out only the metadata, but not the sensible information. So you strip out, for instance, faces, plates, car plates, this kind of stuff. So we are already deploying these sensors. There are a few sensors in Via 20 Settembre in Rome, monitoring crossroads, also for safety, for instance, or public transportation, or parking slots, this kind of stuff. Last but not the least, infosphere. And again, Fernando had it right. I mean, imagining, how the infosphere is the complex ecosystem of how we produce information, how we exploit information as users, and ultimately how we change our opinions and, of course, take decisions based on this. And we know there are a lot of pathologies connected to this. So there are on the headlines every day. So misinformation, fake news, filter bubbles, hate speech, so you name it. Okay. So our ambition is try to find new ways, little by little, to heal somehow this kind of ecosystem. And again, here there are many things. We have to reconstruct trusts, which should be distributed. We need, a new generation of recommender system, which has to be creative. Creative means letting people explore a little bit further with respect to their comfort zone. And of course, mapping the public discourse, mapping somehow how divisive could be a specific piece of news in this situation. So we also created, it's not the actual actor, not all the actors are here, but we created this in collaboration with Centro Fermi, this Lab for News. So the Lab for News is supposed to interpolate, so fill the full pipeline between the basic research and the needs of editors and journalists. And of course, language is an important element here. So our language team in Paris is helping in that direction because as I said before, meaning is one of the most important elements, the most precious element in what we read. And of course, for understanding, it's very important to get it right. So I would say I stop here. But before closing, I guess the real challenge starts now, today or perhaps tomorrow morning. Okay, today we can relax. Tomorrow morning, because of course, starting from tomorrow, we have to make it right. Okay, make it right means not being alone. We cannot do this alone. So already the collaboration with Centro Fermi, public-private, is very important. So Sony is opening also the intellectual property rights and sharing with all the relevant stakeholders. But we invite all of you, to participate to this, because I guess we need all the pipeline in place, to take these challenges and bring them to hopefully, a very positive outcome. Thanks a lot.